have a favor to ask of you. It's really special. Come, I'll tell you all about it. So today is my mom's 70th birthday, and I wanted to do something really special for her. So what I was thinking is, I would love it so much if you could leave me a comment below, or actually leave my mom a comment below and wish her a happy birthday. Her name is Lucia, Lucia. So just say, happy birthday, Lucia, in the comments below. That would mean so much. And I will heart all of your comments, and I'll make sure that she sees it. I'm doing this as a surprise. So I actually have two favors to ask of you. So the first one is to leave her a happy birthday comment below. And just a minute, I'll ask you the second favor. It's really easy as well, but it will mean so much. So let me just tell you why I love my mom so much, why she inspires me so much. She is the strongest, most resilient, most happy person that I know, and she has made me who I am. And I am so grateful for that, and I can see it in my daughter as well. She's literally like a small version of my mom. It's amazing. So my mom actually had, she had a lovely upbringing with a loving family. Unfortunately, though, when she was 9 years old, she lost her mom. And at that time, her dad had 12 kids. Can you imagine? 12 kids. And they were a not very rich, family, a farming family in Holland. They were quite poor, and but very loving, and always found a way to make things happen. But the thing is, when my grandmother passed away when my mom was 9 years old, it was very hard on my grandfather to take care of 12 children. So a lot of the aunts and uncles took in the different kids just for a couple of weeks until he could kind of get himself sorted and get things settled. My mom's best friend, however, lived in a convent in her town. And because she was an orphan, and so my mom had already been spending a lot of time at the convent with her friend. So the nuns actually approached my grandfather, and they offered to take my mom in to the convent and take care of her for him, to help with the food and the clothing, and just taking care of one of his children. Now the other kids all moved back home again within a few weeks, but my mom actually stayed living at the convent for 3 years, from 9 years old till 12 years old. So very, important years as a child. Now she could see her family. They lived just a mile down the road, so on weekends she would go home and visit them. But she always felt kind of outside the family, as loving and wonderful as the family was. You can imagine that could be quite an impressive thing for a child to go through. And it did have effects on my mom. For example, she actually was held back for 2 grades. And again, right during that time, because it's a lot to process when you lose your mom. And then, as you all know from my videos here, I was in a coma and had a near-death experience in 2016. So can you imagine? My mom lost her mom when she was 9, and then she almost lost her daughter. And so she's been through a lot of things like that. She met my dad when she was 15. They met at a dance, like a dance school in their local town, and they fell in love. They really were that high school sweethearts, even though they didn't go to high school. It was different kinds of school. And but the thing is, my dad's an adventurer, and so he wanted to move to Canada. So when they were 18 years old, they got married and they moved to Canada. But this was in 1970, and at that time, when you moved across the ocean, you didn't see your family again. Like, travel back and forth was not a normal thing. Although it's not quite normal right now with COVID, but you get the idea. So she first lost her mom, felt ostracized from her family, then she married the love of her life, but then she moved across the ocean, so she thought she'd never see her family again. She didn't speak English. She didn't speak English at all, but she's always been so resilient and such a trooper, and she never takes what life throws at her in a bad way. She's just like, well, it's just something that happens, and then you move forward. And I attribute a lot of my own positivity and my own resilience to my mom. She's set the most amazing role model for me, and I am so grateful and so blessed that she was my mom, and that she is my mom. And so I wanted to do a second favor for her. So please do leave me a happy birthday, Lucia, in the comments below. It would mean so much. Maybe even share this with a friend and get them to say happy birthday to her too. Now, one of the things that my mom did that really, really inspired me So like I said, she didn't speak any English. She never took any English lessons. She just moved to Canada, and my father as well. They didn't speak English. He spoke a little bit, but not much at all. They moved to Canada and they just went for it. They just decided, we're going to Canada. We're just going to speak English. And they never looked back. And now she had broken English, and growing up, you know, I wouldn't go to my mom for any English help, but I would definitely go to her for any inspiration. And anytime I wanted to really put myself out there and just be who I am and just go after my dreams. She was always very supportive of that. And so when I was an adult, she actually wrote a book, which is amazing. And I'll tell you about it in just a second because I'm so proud of her. So she never had any formal English training, and she always kind of wanted to tell stories. She was always into storytelling and singing. She gave me my love for singing, performing. And so she wanted to tell stories. And the really cool thing about this book that I was so inspired by is my mom was really good at taking morning walks. Every morning she'd go on a walk down our road. And one morning, a car slowed down really slow. Now, the car was just being nice, right? It was just like, because it was a dirt road. And so the car was just trying not to throw dirt at her as he drove past. But my mom's imagination took hold of her, and she was like, what if somebody kidnapped me? And then it got even more exciting. She was like, what if somebody kidnapped me, but then replaced me with somebody exactly like me? And her mind just spiraled into this idea. And that's how her book, Stolen Identity, came out. It's so cool because this picture, this is actually a painting that was made from my parents' wedding photo. And this is a painting that was made for my mom. No, she was never in jail. But this was actually just like a teenage picture. You know, teenagers are always like, So she used that as the inspiration. So in this book, Stolen Identity, the main character gets thrown, into jail because this person who stole the identity was in jail. Anyways, it's a really interesting story, and I'm so proud of her. And the really cool thing about it is that in her book, a lot of the best authors in the world do this. One of my favorite authors, Lucy Montgomery, did this in all of her books. Really great authors write from what they know, and they use their own personal experiences. So you actually get, in this story, you get to learn things like what it was like to lose someone, to have someone in the hospital, to see all the tubes. And then of course it was foreshadowing because she ended up having to see me that way. But I'm so inspired because she was nervous. She was so nervous. She's like, I can't speak English. So instead of writing, because writing was not her forte, she actually took a recorder and she'd go on her morning walks after she was inspired by this idea, and she would just talk the chapters in. And then after a while, when she'd finished the book, she got somebody else to transcribe it. And then she found an editor to write it all out and to make it all flow. And then we found, a beautiful illustrator to draw the pictures. And it was amazing. Let me just read you the back. It's so cool. I'm so proud of my mom. So it's called Stolen Identity, and my mom, Lucia Vander Gulik. And it's so orphaned at a young age. Celia Winters grows up in various foster homes. Again, my mom was in a convent with other orphans, right? So that's kind of going in there. And leads to the life of a troubled teen. Now, my mom was not a troubled teen. When she gets involved with the wrong crowd, Celia does the unthinkable and is sentenced to life in prison. You'll have to read the book to find out what the unthinkable is, but it's really good. All right, alone and in despair, Celia buries herself in books and cries herself to sleep behind the cold steel bars. Damien Smith, the prison's warden, is enthralled by Celia's stunning beauty. He notices that Celia is in the spitting image of the mayor's to-be daughter-in-law, the wealthiest family in town, which gets his devious mind working overtime. Damien approaches Celia with a cunning plan to break her out of prison, but there is a catch. In order for Celia to be free, she must switch places with a twin sister she never knew she had. As Celia ponders the outside world, the fresh air, the blue skies, the freedom, she ignores her conscience and decides to accept Damien's proposal and live a life of luxury as Sonia Haynes. Will anyone realize that that Celia is impersonating Sonia? Is Sonia doomed to Celia's fate behind the bars? Lucia Vander Gulik, my mommy, weaves this mysterious and haunting tale of denial, deceit, and tragedy, which will undoubtedly leave the reader in suspense. After all, how difficult could it be to steal someone's identity? I'm so proud of her. It took her 5 years to write this, and everybody loves it. I'll leave a link to her Amazon book in the description below, so you can go check it out, because she's got the most amazing feedback on her book. And you can also, I think there's like a preview, you can preview it and get a feel for it. Now, if you really want to help me celebrate my mom's 70th birthday today, get yourself a copy. It would be so amazing. There's a Kindle version that's really, really cheap, or you can get the hard copy, which of course I recommend. But so she's been working on the sequel because people loved it so much. They were asking her to work on the sequel. So she's been working on the sequel, but she's been working on it for maybe even almost 10 years now. And I really want to inspire her in 2021 to really go for it and finish the sequel. She's almost there. She's so close. Of course, during that time, I ended up in a coma. She's had a lot of things happen. She's had to move. She's had a lot of things going on. And I want her to just take action and finish this. And I know she can do it. She's so inspiring. And you're going to absolutely love it. Thank you so much. So the second favor that I have for you today is to just go check out her book. You can buy it if you want, which would be amazing, but even just look at the comments, and if you open up the preview and read the preview and maybe leave your own comment about what you think about the preview and how excited you are to read it, that would really help get Amazon to notice her book and promote it for her, and that would be such a wonderful birthday present for her. If you could share this with a friend who you want to inspire, go after your dreams. It doesn't matter how old you are, just go after your dreams. Be like Colonel Sanders, at 65, start a new business, or write a book like my mom did, and just go after your dreams, because you can do it. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Mommy. I love you so much. You have been such an inspiration to me, and I'm so honored to be your daughter. I look forward to interviewing you for a future episode. If you guys want my mom to be interviewed, leave me a comment below and let me know. Give my mom a thumbs up and say, yes, Lucia, we want to get to know you. We want to hear your story about what it was like moving to a new country, what it was like to write a book when you couldn't even speak or write the language properly, all those things. All right, I'll talk to you later. And in the meantime, if you'd like to learn more about my family, go check out my daughter's playlist over here. She's amazing, and she's been inspired a lot by my mom too. All right, love you. Thank you.